I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Guitar companies do not know how to name their guitars. That says absolutely nothing about how good of a guitar this might be, but it is a personal annoyance. Hey, it's Carl from artofshred.com, and this is the Gretsch G2215-P90 Streamliner Jet Club. Did I get that right? Let me check. Junior Jet Club. That's the last time I'm saying that name. It's impossible. Like I said, guitar companies don't know what they're doing with naming conventions. So the regular price on these Junior Jet Clubs is $349. I usually see it on sale for between $250 and $300, but I got it for a ridiculous $199. Since you're subscribed to Riff City, right? You saw the deal to get it even cheaper at $169. That's no longer available, but at the moment of this review anyway, it's still available for the $199 price and a 10% cash back, so effectively $179. All that info will be in the description of this video. It might not be available by the time you watch this. I'm sorry if that's the case. Subscribe to Riff City so you don't miss deals. Now, I've got to tell you, for $200, this is a no-brainer. I mean, an absolute no-brainer. For even $250, it's pretty close to a no-brainer. And for $300, still great, not necessarily a no-brainer. I'd have to think about it a little bit. There's very little I can say negative about this guitar. And really, there are only two things that I don't like about it. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about important specs. So we've got a NATO body and neck wood, 22 medium jumbo frets, a really comfortable thin U-neck shape, really cool pearloid neoclassic thumbnail inlays, as they call them, on the 12-inch radius Laurel fretboard, 24 3/4 inch scale length, like a Les Paul. It's got one P90 in the neck and a Broadtron BT2S in the bridge, with 3-way pickup switch and 1 volume, 1 tone control. And it weighs 7.8 pounds, so it's got a little bit of heft to it. It's not super heavy. And finally, it comes in a bunch of finishes. This is the single barrel stain. Really nice finish. So out of the box, if you watched my first impressions unboxing video of this guitar, you know it was sitting around in a warehouse for a couple years, at least since the inspection at the factory. And generally when that's the case, it's not really a great sign for the frets specifically in the fretboard. Usually it'll get, the frets will get oxidized, fretboard will get dry, frets sprout, all those type of things, sharp frets. But happy to report, as you saw in that video, there was some slight fret sprout, a few sharp frets, but nothing egregious. Didn't affect playability to the point where, it was cutting your hands or anything. So as far as that goes, out of the box, this thing was done well. And importantly, there was no fret buzz, high frets, things like that. So, in general, the out-of-box experience, this guitar gets my seal of approval. Now let's talk dislikes, but not deal breakers. I kind of already mentioned this before, but the volume and tone knobs, where they're located, I just can't get used to it. I've played this guitar for a dozen hours at least by now, and I still can't get used to where those knobs are, because I am used to, like you probably are, where the knobs are located on pretty much every other guitar in existence. So is that a deal breaker? No, of course not. Just takes some getting used to. No big deal, but It's my job to point out those things. And of course, I don't love compensated wraparound bridges like this one. It makes intonating the guitar a little bit more difficult. It's not like impossible or anything like that. It's just a little imperfect, if you will. But again, no, it's not a major issue. Some of that is personal preference, and well, that's my personal preference. So honestly, not much to dislike about this guitar. Which brings us to what I like about this Gretsch G2215-P90. First of all, I love when a budget guitar has unique pickup options. A P90 and a humbucker, yes, please and thank you. And these pickups sound great. The Broadtron is clear, punchy, has a nice low end to it, and the P90 has that mid-range that you want out of a P90. I like these pickups so much, I mean, I wouldn't even bother swapping them out. To me, they're not budget sounding. It's not a budget sounding guitar. I think it sounds great. The clean tones, fantastic. Broadtron can get even quite thrashy if you want it to. Let's talk about this Broadtron a little. Let's be honest. It's a humbucker. Does it sound good? Yes. Does it look unique? Yes. Is it a particularly voiced humbucker? Yes. Does all of that mean anything? Well, maybe. The most important thing is that it sounds good, right? That's what it all boils down to, and this sounds good. And I also love that this guitar is really comfortable to play. It does have a gloss finish on the neck, which I know not everybody loves. I like it. So this is not at all a chunky neck. It's again, it's a thin U shape, and it's thin, comfortable. I like this neck. And of course, the least important thing for me anyway is that this guitar looks great. I mean, it looks unique, you know, kind of catches the eye, and you know, that's always fun, especially for a more budget instrument. So yeah, there's really nothing bad I can say about this guitar beyond, you know, those nitpicking things I've pointed out already. I think it'd be great for beginners, non-beginners alike, and if you wanted to use it as a mod platform, you know, it's great for that, but personally, I don't think it really requires any mods, except maybe that bridge for me personally. Let's get on to some more sound demos, but before we do that, of course, subscribe to Riff City so you don't miss channel updates. Subscribe to the YouTube as well, but YouTube seems to not always be sending notifications, unfortunately. That's why signing up for Riff City is better. And yeah, see you next time.